What's going on with the Dallas Cowboys and Mike McCarthy? Well, there's been some major news coming out of Chicago, where the Bears want to interview none other than Mike McCarthy, the current head coach of the Cowboys. So, what's next? Hey y'all, what's up? If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, you know there's always something brewing behind the scenes, and we're here to break it all down for you. The Chicago Bears have made some noise by formally requesting to interview Mike McCarthy, and they're serious about it. They're looking at McCarthy to possibly take over as the head coach of the Bears and, of course, help develop their young QB prospect, Caleb Williams. But here's the kicker. The Cowboys haven't given a clear answer yet. So what's really going on here? What does this mean for the future of Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys? First things first, let's get this straight. The Chicago Bears have officially requested permission from the Cowboys to interview Mike McCarthy for their head coach role. They want to see if he's the right person to lead their team into the future. Now, as of right now, the Cowboys are still keeping things under wraps, staying tight-lipped about the situation. They haven't given a firm response yet, which has fans wondering what's really going on behind the scenes. The Bears have already made their move, and now it's up to Dallas to decide whether or not they're going to allow McCarthy to talk to the Bears. And here's where it gets really interesting. If the Cowboys don't give an answer by the end of this week, the Bears can just sit tight and wait. Why? Because once the exclusive negotiation period between teams expires, the Bears can talk to McCarthy without needing Dallas's permission. That's right. If the Cowboys don't make a decision soon, McCarthy could be interviewing with Chicago on his own terms, without any interference from Dallas. Y'all can feel the tension building up, can't you? The Cowboys are in a tricky situation, and this whole scenario could impact everything, from the coaching staff to the team's overall direction. So now, here's the big question rolling around in every Cowboys fan's mind. What's the plan for the Cowboys moving forward? Well, the ball is in Jerry Jones's court, as it always is. The owner of this iconic franchise is the one who calls the shots, no matter what the rest of us might think. When asked about the Bears' interest in interviewing Mike McCarthy, Jerry didn't hold back. He made it clear that he wouldn't stop anyone from talking to other teams if they chose to do so. But that doesn't necessarily mean McCarthy's out the door just yet. It's all about what Jerry thinks is best for the Dallas Cowboys. The silence coming from the Cowboys camp is deafening, and it's got fans on edge. People are wondering whether McCarthy will be sticking around, or if this is the perfect moment for the team to start fresh. And let's face it, McCarthy might have led this team to the playoffs, but there are certainly some folks who haven't been shy about critiquing his offensive approach. As a fan, it can feel like watching a game unfold, but the outcome isn't clear until that final whistle blows. Will Jerry Jones let McCarthy explore his options, or does he think there's still unfinished business here in Dallas? Now, let's dig a little deeper into Mike McCarthy's situation. He's currently in the last year of his contract with the Cowboys, which definitely puts him in a vulnerable spot. Sure, he's a well-respected name in the NFL with a Super Bowl ring from his time with the Packers, and he's known for maintaining a solid locker room. But lately, his offense has been getting some serious side-eye from analysts and fans alike. In 2024, the NFL is all about innovation, fast passes, flexible offenses, and constant movement. Unfortunately, McCarthy's offensive approach feels like it's stuck in the past. This has been a major talking point, especially with teams like the Bears looking to mold their next big QB talent, like Caleb Williams. Let's get real for a second. As Cowboys fans, we all know how tough it is to let go of a coach who brought the team back to the playoffs. But are we really ready to settle for a coach whose offense is starting to feel outdated? With all the noise swirling around, it's hard not to wonder if Jerry Jones is about to pull the trigger on something new. Maybe McCarthy's had his shot, and it's time to look ahead to someone who can bring a modern, high-energy offense to the table. Looking at it from another angle, Jerry Jones has always been about winning. So, while he respects McCarthy's past achievements, he knows that if the Cowboys are going to take that next step, they need to push the envelope. If there's one thing we've learned as Cowboys fans, it's that Jerry isn't afraid to make bold moves when it's time. And whether McCarthy stays or goes, it's clear that big changes are coming to the Dallas Cowboys. They know what they need: a seasoned coach, someone who can not only bring Caleb Williams up to speed, but also bring much-needed stability to the squad. And that's where Mike McCarthy comes into play. McCarthy's got plenty of experience, and he's no stranger to leading teams and handling big egos in the locker room. But here's the rub. Does McCarthy have the offensive game plan that the Bears are desperately needing? That's a tough one to answer. See, McCarthy might be a solid leader, but what the Bears really need is innovation. They're looking for someone who can take Caleb Williams under their wing and help him handle the pressures of playing in the NFL. McCarthy's offensive schemes, though, haven't exactly been lighting up the scoreboard in recent years. This puts the Bears in a real bind. While they might want McCarthy for his leadership skills, they could also be on the hunt for someone with a more modern approach to the game. Someone whose vision will mesh better with the talent of a young, promising quarterback. But McCarthy is not the only name floating around out there. The Bears have their eyes on a few other candidates who could be a better fit for what they're looking for. For starters, they've already lined up interviews with Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator over at the Detroit Lions. Johnson has been turning heads with his creative and modern offense. He's gotten a lot of praise for how he developed Jared Goff and turned the Lions' offense into one of the most dynamic in the league. That could be just the spark the Bears are looking for. But the catch is that Johnson is still pretty fresh in the role of offensive coordinator. So, does the Bears management want someone with more experience? Or are they willing to take a chance on a rising star? On top of that, the Bears are also talking to Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings and former head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Flores is well respected for his leadership and defensive acumen. He's also been a head coach before, which gives him a lot of credibility. Then there's Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator for the Steelers and former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. He's got a solid reputation for working with offenses, but let's be honest, he didn't exactly set the world on fire when he was at the helm of the Falcons. The Bears have options, but the question remains: which direction will they choose? The real question here isn't just whether McCarthy or any of these other candidates can be the right fit for the Bears. It's about what kind of offense they need for Caleb Williams to thrive. The NFL has a very different tempo than college football, and for a young quarterback to make that jump successfully, he's going to need more than just a solid playbook. He needs someone who can innovate, someone who knows how to take advantage of what Caleb does best and mold it to the strengths of the team. The Bears know they need to strike while the iron is hot, because if they mess up this hire, they could be setting themselves back for years. It's also crucial that the Bears focus not only on Caleb Williams, but also on building an offense that will protect him and keep him from burning out. The NFL is a tough league, and young quarterbacks often face a ton of pressure. But with the right guidance and system in place, Williams could be a star in the making. The Bears need a coach who can think outside the box and isn't afraid to roll with some new ideas. If McCarthy can provide that, great. But if not, maybe it's time to look at other fresh faces with a hunger to prove themselves. So, let's talk about Mike McCarthy and where things are headed. Now, if we're comparing him to other candidates, it's clear this isn't a one-size-fits-all situation for the Cowboys. The Bears are in the mix, looking for someone to revamp their squad, and it's causing a bit of a stir. If the Bears are after a steady hand with plenty of experience, McCarthy could be their guy. He's been around the block enough times to know what it takes to build a strong team. And let's face it, the Cowboys could use that kind of leadership. But here's the twist. If the Bears are aiming for fresh, new ideas, McCarthy might not be the answer. Some of the younger, more innovative coaches, like Ben Johnson, might be the breath of fresh air the Bears are looking for. When you take a step back and look at the overall NFL landscape, it's clear that this whole debate about experience versus innovation holds some serious weight. Some folks in the league believe McCarthy's solid track record makes him the perfect fit, while others wonder if he's got what it takes to develop a young quarterback like Caleb Williams. That's a big question. The Bears are rebuilding, no doubt, and they need someone who can turn things around quickly. But if they're serious about a fresh start and want someone to spark some real change on offense, maybe McCarthy isn't their guy after all. The thing is, the Cowboys are standing right in the middle of this whole process. Mike McCarthy's future is tied directly to what happens with the Bears, and that's something fans of the Cowboys should be paying close attention to. If McCarthy ends up getting an interview with Chicago, it could really shake things up here in Dallas. So, what happens next? If he does leave, are the Cowboys going to go for another experienced head coach? Or are they going to stay the course and stick with McCarthy's system? As we all know, Jerry Jones is a man of many surprises, and his decision on McCarthy could change everything. With McCarthy, there's a chance for stability. But what if it's time to make a change? We all know that the Cowboys have been knocking on the door of greatness, but we're still waiting to see that next-level performance. The coaching decisions made in the coming weeks could define what this team looks like for years to come. Now, Cowboys fans, I've got to ask, do y'all think Mike McCarthy is the right guy for the job? Or is it time to make a bold move? Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. And hey, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss a single update on all the latest Dallas Cowboys news. We want to hear from you. So let's keep this conversation going and see where it leads us.